Yeah, vendors are at war with the Zulu nation. There has been zero attacks by Zulus against vendors, but I mean, there has been zero attacks by Zulus against vendors. Um, in recent marches, the people who got affected would have been Shangaan people, and they themselves not necessarily being victims. All right, so I'm not very sure where vendor people enter, but we know vendors. We have stayed with vendors. They are the most tribalist people, and they use a strategy of placing themselves as victims whilst they devour you. And they have always had hatred against Zulu people. I don't even think they themselves know what they hate Zulu people for. And I think it's just something which is in their genes, which is perhaps a stamp of ancient wars we must have forgotten. This is what brought me also to the conclusion that I believe Venda people come from the actual Egypt, and they are associated. Of course, Vendas and Shonas are associates. They share the same blood. I believe they are also associated with the Nigerian Igbos somehow or other, which ones? Yeah, I think Nigerian Igbos. These people are related, all right. You see, I'm taking this back to the sons of Ham, or that the Venda people, they have a beef I do not understand, which has got no historical justification against Zulu people. That is why when they build mansions, they then post those pictures to compare with Zulu people. But why are they comparing with us? We don't know vendors, so why are they competing with us? So in Limpopo, there's like Shangans and Pedis. So when they are kind of like competing, why aren't they competing with Pedis and Shangans and say, look at our mansions as vendors, and we build better mansions than Pedis and Shangans? No, every time vendors are posting, it's in comparison with Zulus. Why? Then you listen to the other professor who studied at University of Natal, which is UKZ, and today his beef against the Zulu people and his insinuations in the statements he made in that it's a YouTube channel. I don't necessarily follow the guy who was interviewing him, and it was so appalling. And then you listen to that guy portraying vendor people as though they have risen up leadership because they are educated, whilst others are known internationally for kind of like lame reasons, like the name, the Zulu name. We didn't mention Zulu directly, but you could see that the person was taking jabs against Zulu people for our fame, sort of like saying our fame internationally is premised on uselessness. We are not educated, we're not producing, or rather, he was insinuating we're not as educated as vendors and them. And that too, wow, is always disappointing to hear. And then you wonder what journalism is here in this country that such statements get away without questioning. Because since when are vendors more educated than Zulus? When did that happen? It has never happened. This is the same reason that I questioned why is Mbili always on Sowetan newspaper every year. And I indicated right there that this is done deliberately in order to justify the tribalism of vendors in Gauteng and nationally. And then if you look at Ramaphosa's government, like right now, look, we are having this issue of uh, March and March, as who represent us as South Africans. They are representing 90% Black South Africans, and well, excluding those of Limpopo. I don't know what is happening in Limpopo, but outside Limpopo, March and March is representing 90% South African, Black South Africans, 90% Black South Africans. So now, you listen to these attacks at this point in time, and they are all coming from Limpopo. Julius Malema, I always told people there's no difference between Malema and Ramaphosa. They are the same people. So I mean, it's Julius Malema. It's Khumbudzo Ntshavheni. It is Ronald Lamola. So why is South Africa not questioning why vendors around Cyril Ramaphosa, spokespersons, international relations, vendor. If a Zulu person was doing that, yes, it would be an issue. We would be called all names, tribalists, tribalism. But when vendors do it, everybody pretends not to see blatant tribalism. So now we are seeing the strategy that the ANC used in 1985 to discredit the IFP. But then again, we're seeing a strategy which even predates 1985, which was used to purge the ANC of its founders, because it is the Zulu who founded the ANC. It is the Zulus who initiated unification of people. You see, there's something about Limpopo which is always hypocritical. I don't know, I wonder if these people even introspect, because you just have to give up on their culture of victimhood. It's appalling. It's a disgusting culture. It's the same culture that we're seeing in Nigerians and Zimbabweans, at destroying other people and then demanding to be victims. So, I, all right, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, we don't know you. You are not important to us as Zulu people. You are nothing really. It's just that you got given a position to be a spokesperson of your tribalist Ramaphosa, the Malawian vendor. All right, so you say it well that you have relatives in Zimbabwe. We don't, as Zulus. All right, the Zimbabwean Ndebeles, we're not related. They left the Zulu nation, so you have never seen us Zulus fighting for Zimbabwean Ndebeles in South Africa, because Zimbabwean Ndebeles belong in Zimbabwe. But yourselves are the snakes that you celebrate in your Domba dance. They're snakes. Okay. This is what I was saying, that we've got a problem in Limpopo of split focus, because your people are Zimbabwe. Is your grandfather not from Zimbabwe himself, perhaps? Because I saw many of your graves have got Zimbabwean forefathers. All right, so that makes you actually to be more patriotic to Zimbabwe than South Africa. All right, and then I don't want to make some big statements which will offend on top of the offensive, or of the offensiveness that has already been spewed or passed to infect everybody else in Limpopo. Listen, we are not here to fight for your family, which you've got family in Zimbabwe and whatever. We're fighting for our South Africa. It's got borders. So if your family is Zimbabwean, they are Zimbabweans. They are not South Africans. They've got no right to just enter our country anyhow just because they are your relatives. Your family is not important. You're not the center of the universe. The earth does not rotate around your vendor families. The earth does not rotate around the Shangan families. The Shangans in Mozambique, there are Shangans in South Africa. That's none of our business, all right? So the issue is South Africa has got borders, and therefore anybody, whether it's your relative, whether it's your grandmother, must enter our country legally. And if they want to be South African citizens, they've got to be coming with skills we do not have, all right? But I will go back to the reason why you vendors and Limpopo people brought foreigners, because you wanted to subjugate Zulu people. Because you knew Zulus are far educated than yourself, and we've got the large population, so you knew that if merit was going to be used, Zulus were going to occupy all the positions because we have the ability. All right. So in order to block the Zulu people, you fetched all these Zimbabweans and placed them there, gave them tenders and everything, put them in positions in workplaces, public sector, and them, all right, just to block Zulu people. We know that. So now, but you are victims, ain't it? Victims. But you are the ones who are doing evil. What have Zulus ever done to you? So you're saying what? You're saying people, you're not... yeah, but this one is very arrogant. We are delela. So let me call you, let me disrespect you again now, because you went straight to attacking our Zulu king to make your point. All right, so in that regard, then you are not worth of any respect. All right, Sisi. Intombazane delela ehlaza. Kusho ukuthi uzalwe abazali abalihlaza njengawe. Yeah, you're a very arrogant girl. You're a girl, an arrogant, very arrogant girl. You will do well to sell your body to Nigerians, because you are not a human being. There's no muntu butu. There's no muntu. What's the woman who can address a monarch like that? Uyinja ke. Thank you. Uyinja. So now that I've done that, because you are not worth of any respect, now let me go back to the issue. You guys in Limpopo say you believe in unity. I've always questioned you about that, because I said, you believe in unity, so why don't you drop your languages and speak Zulu, because Zulu is a common language. So to do this unification that you speak about, because you say white people that they divided us, but your practices as Venda people and them have always been divisive. With, I don't know where whites enter in those divisions which make up your character as Venda people. So now I asked socialists a long time ago. I said, okay, so you believe in that type of unity, so why aren't you speaking isiZulu? Why is Malema not speaking Zulu? All right, because Zulu is a common language. So if you believe in that type of unity, you should be speaking, drop your tiny little languages and speak Zulu, so that we become united. I reminded everybody that it is Zulus who tried to unite people. It is your Venda ancestors who refused to be united with Zulu people or with other people. All right, so you always wanted to stand alone and have your identity as Venda people, which the Zulu people actually respected. Hence, it is Zulu people who tried to defend you by ensuring it is Zulus, who actually, here's what we said. We said South Africa must be a federal country. Why were we saying that? So that we defend you, your tiny little selves. But here's what democracy in South Africa has done, which is the template of white capital from its inception. It imposes minorities over majorities. Uyadelela skhotheni. Uskhotheni wena. Uyadelela. You are exactly the Venda woman that I've always told people. I said, yes, Venda woman is arrogant as Tswana women. Delelo. Yeah. So you're very arrogant. You see, you could have picked like a Zulu premier. You went for the monarch. Uyinja. Angisumuntu okuthukanayo, ngizogcina lapho, because I could be saying a lot of things, but it's not me. I don't do that stuff. Uyinja. Ntshabeleni ndini. Akusiwo Ntshabeleni it's a Shangan song surname. So kusho ubani lo muntu Ntshabeni, yeah. Uyinja sisi. You are, maybe I should be even calling you a slut because you have got no respect for our king. It. So now you are a slut. You are a slut. If you are a woman who has got no regard first for men, he's a man. He's a man. So if you believe in any African culture, there's no way a woman can address a male, a father, like that. Secondly, he is a monarch. You don't speak to him like that. You don't say, like you went, you are attacking the Zulu people. You went direct to the heart beat of the Zulu people, attacking the Zulu king. When did the Zulu king actually even accuse you? Why are you speaking? Why are you addressing the Zulu king? All right, have you told King Charles, whom your Ramaphosa reports to, that he must learn Chivenda and not demand that you speak his English? You know, you're telling Zulus that we can't tell you to speak Zulu, whereas we can't speak your tiny little Venda insignificant language. Your language is too tiny. It's insignificant. There are common languages because of population dynamics which you cannot fight against. So these are natural phenomena you're supposed to accept as a people. Zulus who grew up in Venda speak perfect Zulu. Speak perfect Venda. Zulus like myself who grew up in the Free State, we speak perfect Sotho. Zulus in Mamelodi speak perfect Pedi and Soshanguve and them. Wena uyinja yomgodo yetribalist njenga Ramaphosa wakho. That's why you're speaking like that. Uyinja. Swayini we-tribalist. That we need to keep on accepting vendor blows. Vendor baswenzeni ngamuphi unyaka. Even in black on black violence, it is vendor people who were kicking Zulus as apartheid police. They're privileged. Blue-eyed balls for the Bure and for colonialist English before. It is you who were attacking our fathers, kicking them. It is you who were security guards in railway station, dismembering our fathers if they dared kind of try and rise up against your Bure. It is vendors and Malawians who were apartheid police, your fathers. That is why whites of the DA came to hold you by hand so that they use you as a buffer against Zulu people. That is why you're attacking Zulu people all left, right, and center. When did Zulus ever attack vendors? Every day I'd rather be hearing Zulus saying Shangan, Shangan. Wenage as vendungena P. I tell people all the time that Cyril Ramaphosa hates Zulus. What you are speaking is exactly the language of your father. Cyril Ramaphosa, a Zulu hater. Now, your language is tiny. Not even Pedis in Limpopo can speak your Chivenda because it's insignificant. You are forced as vendors in Limpopo to know Sotho or Pedi language because it's a common language there, and you've got no issue with that because you know it's a common language. So you would communicate with far more people if you speak in Sotho stroke Pedi, and you've got no qualms with that. But when it comes to Zulu is common language. See, you can hate us and go far. We don't give a damn. Our Zulu women are beautiful, very respectful. They respect men. No, they are not doormats. They can stand up for themselves, but they respect men. They are ladies. Wena hamba uyodlala amadayisi namapantsula. You're not a woman. Ulihlaza. So nami ke manje sengivele ngathi ithi ngibe lihlaza njengawe. Let me match you up. You went for our king. Oh, what I'm doing is not going to be appreciated by my Zulu king at all, and certainly not by King Jesus. Kunini silalela amabhulo awo mavenda sinenzeni? Zulu is a common language. When Anju Motshekga went to try and fetch Swahili to be the language that gets spoken in South Africa, I said, I know why she's going for Swahili. It is because vendors and Pedis of Limpopo said, "Bona, they won't talk Zulu." So they'd rather fetch an East African language and make it to be the lingua franca that would unite us. Ubunja nokuthakatha lokho. We don't come from a culture of Sosara. It is you vendors who are dancing with snakes, not us. Ningasifake. Fix your hatred and your envy. You see that somewhere in the Bible where it indicates that the spirit of envy sits in the northern gate. Yeah, ninomona mavenda. That has been your beef against Zulu people through and through. I've got no respect for you, Intombazane yasestradini. Thank you.